back into Tennessee. And if you checked out the last video I did, will you survive with the high diesel prices? I figure it was only accommodating that I make a video as well. Can you survive with the lower freight? And in this video, I'm going to talk about that. Talk about how to book freight, how I book freight, how I stay profitable, and what I do whenever the freight drops. Might even touch on some numbers on a good way to set up your business model, or I might save that for a separate video for the guys looking to become an owner-operator. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So if you're thinking about becoming an owner-operator, I'm going to make another video in the future about how to find out your business model, crunch your numbers, and set up a business model. And with that, you plan your work and work your plan, and it will keep you profitable. But today's video, I'm going to concentrate on just the booking of loads, where to go, and how to stay in a hot market, and what I do. Now, I might not know anything. I might have this all wrong. So if I do, be sure to let me know in the comments, because I love constructive criticism. If I'm doing something wrong, I want to know, because I want to correct it. That's anything in life, man. It's all about course correction. I've noticed here lately a lot of chatter that the rates have went to garbage. And on myself, I hadn't really noticed that big of an impact. But I also don't keep my, come on truck, I need over. Get over, dadgummit. What's wrong with the world? Trucks won't even let you over for somebody on the shoulder. My goodness. Anyway, I don't have any specific way I do things, or let's say I don't have a specific area that I stick to. I run wherever the loads take me. I'm a rate chaser. I chase the rates, and if the rates are hot in Idaho, well, guess what? We're going to Idaho. If the rates are hot in New York, we're going up to New York, and so forth. I don't stick to a certain region. I am a rate chaser. Hence the reason I'm starting the Facebook group, Rate Chasers. If you want to join that group and be part of owner-operators and for a place for guidance and information, the link is in the description for the Rate Chasers. And, well, let me go and clarify this. I left out last Monday, and from the house, I went down to Mobile. From Mobile, I came up to Pennsylvania. From Pennsylvania, I came down to Florida, and I got there on Sunday. And today, being Monday, I'm heading back. But if I could have delivered that load yesterday, and I would have been able to deliver this load I'm on now, today, it would have been Monday through Monday and over $10,000 in gross revenue. But since I can't do that, I'm gonna stick to a Monday to Monday. I put down $9,110 in gross revenue. And the diesel prices, yes, are up there. I think my total is, dude, I don't even know, probably $2,500, $3,000. It's up there, but that's also including topping the takes off about 170 miles ago. So I'm gonna have plenty of diesel fuel pushing over. So anyway, high freight fuel prices, but I still managed to put down in 1 week's time $9,100, and it wasn't that hard of running. And it's just like I said, Mobile to PA, PA to Florida. That's it. I didn't even crunch the numbers. How many miles I put down for everything when I got there. But anyway, if you can't make $9,000 in 7 days and say that's terrible, I don't know what kind of lifestyle you live, but that's a lot of money. There is not many professions out there where you can make $9,000 in a week. I'm just saying. Even after expenses, let's crunch it down to say after fuel, truck, trailer, and insurance. Even if I paid it for the month, I'm still damn near $7 grand to the net. I'll even say $6 grand to the net if I was to take the rest of the month off and just pay all the trucking bills. So how do I do that, you ask? Well, it's simple. It goes back to what I said earlier. I stay in a hot market. And how I stay in the hot market is I get on the DAT board and I look at all the freight hubs around my area or wherever I'm wanting to go. I look at the freight hub and do a volume check of freight in Atlanta, Nashville, Knoxville, Dallas, Houston, Oklahoma City, Charlotte, to Chicago, to Holland, Michigan, to Buffalo. I mean, I just what you do is you put in these cities on the DAT board, and you just see how many loads are available today. Not next week, not the week after, today. Put it at a 120-mile radius and see what's there today. Even if it's going to be 3 or 4 days before you get there, the market's still going to be in accordance with what it is today. I've noticed in the years of owner operating and running on the load board and doing this model, what I've learned is markets don't just overnight change. They stair-step down week to week to week, and vice versa. They stair-step up week to week to week. They just don't drop instantly overnight. So what I do is I find out what markets are hot, and that tells me where I want to go with my truck, because the more freight is there, well, it means more load. It's simple supply and demand. And when I get there, when I decide to book a load, the reason why it's so hot to have a good market you're going into, because the load you're booking today, right now, is not the most important load you're booking. The most important load you're booking is your next load. It's kind of like shooting pool, you know. You always want to stay out from behind the 8 ball. You want to be able to pick your next move, set yourself up for your next move. So, for example, if I'm Chattanooga and I'm looking and I'm like, all right, here's a load going to Colorado for $4,000, or here's a load going to Indianapolis for $1,500. Which one do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to Indianapolis, but why? Because the freight ain't that great coming out of Colorado most of the time. So if I could go ahead and pre-plan and pre-book a load coming out of Colorado, yeah, then we're going to go on that money load. But my most important load is my next load. So if there's no loads coming out of Colorado, but there's plenty of loads coming out of Indianapolis for half the rate, well, I mean, it's also half the mile. So half the rate, I'm going to Indianapolis because I know from there I'm going to be getting another good load. And as soon as I get there, I'm looking for a load. I'm putting my truck in another hot market. That's how you got to do, guys. Hot market to hot market to hot market to hot market. And it just, if you want to take a load, like I love going to Florida, because especially for the end of the week, because you can usually get that run and cover up the weekend for $3,000-$4,000 and make a good week. Here, I know that's aggravating you. I know it is. Man, I need to change my wipers. They're leaving marks. But I do that because if you can put down $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 in revenue Monday through Friday and pick up a load Thursday or Friday going down to Miami. Well, I hate going to Miami. It's too much miles going on down past Orlando. Say I go to Orlando and I get that for $3,000 or $4,000. Now you're looking at what I did this past week, $9,000 in revenue, and I finished it out with a good paying load going to Florida. And I don't mind doing that and deadheading back up, which this time I didn't. I picked up a load down in Florida and I'm going to Tennessee with it. So yeah, it worked out. But that's the secret. That's the secret sauce, guys. It's not really that hard. Keep your truck in a hot market. What I've noticed, most people, they will see that load going to Colorado and say, man, there's $4,000 on that. But they don't think of the other end of that when there's no freight coming in there. And then you're sitting for a day or two waiting for a load to just basically pay for your fuel. Now, if you do go to Colorado, be ready to deadhead out. And this is why. If you waste 2 days waiting on a load versus you deadhead out 500 miles, 600 miles to a hot market, by the end of the week, you're going to make more money at the end of the week than sitting there waiting on a load to pop. It just is. A lot of people get lost with that. They're like, I don't want to waste that extra $200-$300 in fuel to go somewhere else, wear and tear on my truck, and blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you, if you do it that way, you're always going to be sitting and waiting. Now, think about the course of a year, how many days you lost in revenue because you're being stubborn. Versus if you do what I would do, if there's nothing there and I happen to end up in that bad market, I'm deadheading out. I don't care. Because by the end of the week, I'm still going to turn more revenue and I'm going to eat up the time that I drove out. I'm going to eat up that expense versus if I sit there waiting on a load, I will never eat the expense of sitting there and lost revenue. And I used to say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again, guys. Rolling now for $2 a mile to get you out of a market is more profitable than waiting until tomorrow to get a $3 a mile, even a $4 a mile. Unless you need a reset, I suggest book the load now and roll. Because again, at the end of the week, you're going to turn more miles, more revenue, and your margin is just going to, your marginal lines are going to look a lot better. A lot of people will disagree with that, and that's cool. You do what you do, I do what I do. And that's just how it is. I mean, different strokes for different folks. I'm not saying, I'm not claiming to know it all. I know I don't. I'm constantly learning, but it's just my preference. I'd rather roll today for a cheaper rate than wait tomorrow to get a higher rate, unless I need a reset. In my experience, I've just always fared a lot better by doing so. And plus, you know, rolling out empty, deadheading, it's not that much wear and tear on your equipment. You're empty, and you just baby your truck, man. You baby your truck. Anyway, if you don't agree, that's cool. I know plenty of people that don't agree, but I also know plenty of people that do agree. That's what I do. Secret sauce is this: keep your truck in a hot market. Always think of the next load as your most important load. It's like shooting pool. Your next shot is your most important shot, because you got to set yourself up. That way, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you're always forward thinking, and you're always setting yourself up for success. So that's just my 2 cents, guys. I just wanted to make a quick video about the rates and what I do. I've talked to quite a few people, a lot of people in California, to Seattle, to Oregon, to New York, all the way down in the Carolinas. My buddy just trucking, and a lot of markets are hurting right now with the rates. But if you just follow that secret sauce and stay in a hot market, you might not get what you was getting 6 months ago, last month. I guarantee you this: you will fare better than staying in a dry market. So that's the name of the game. Keep the wheels turning, and more importantly than that, stay in a hot market. Anyways, guys, if you're still hanging in there, you're awesome. You rock. Consider subscribing if you're not. I put videos out on the regular. And remember, guys, it's not about how far you go in life. It's how far you go with adding quality and values to others. See you, bye.